Dear audience, thank you very much for staying with us to our panel in 2022 World IPF Guide to IP Creation, Exchange, and Ownership in University Industry Collaboration. After Professor Goda, a very comprehensive, very insightful presentation, now we turn our floor to Ms. Vikran Duangmanee. She will talk about the experience of a major chemical company with regard to cross-border industry-university cooperations. Ms. Vikran Duangmanee is the head of Intellectual Property Management at SCG Chemical Public Company Limited in Thailand. She's an expert on her company is a subsidiary of Science Sigmund Group. Vikran holds a LLM in Intellectual Property Law and Policy from University of Washington and LLB from Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. As an IP leader, she has been active in the area of IP strategy, IP portfolio management, IP licensing, and commercialization of IPRs. She was a founder of Licensing Executive Society, Thailand, and as co-chair of LS Asia Pacific Committee. She is still active in the IP licensing community by serving as vice chair of Chemical, Environment, Energy, and Material Committee of LES International and a committee member of LES Thailand. Vikran is also a lecturer on IP management, licensing, and innovation at several university, public and private institutes in Thailand. Before her presentation, I would like to show you the controversies between university and industry by using the case of Uncle Moss. Uncle Moss is sponsored research, invention other than government, and that will be governed by agreement term normally approved by university. And usually the sponsor would expect to own the result of the research, but powerful university like UCLA could own the IP even in such cases. In effect work for hiring and will in most cases be owned by a sponsor, but powerful university like UCLA own the IP. The Uncle Mouse is the U.S. Patent Office granted Harvard a patent on transgenic mouse designed to have a predisposition to cancer. DuPont provides more than $6 million US funding to result in the Uncle Mouse, and under the term with an exclusive license given to DuPont, the right to make and have made, to use and have used, to sell and have sold the Uncle Mouse, and to fully exploit the patent rights. But the limits on informed exchange of mice, DuPont, that would not allow scientists to share mice or breed extensively from the mouse. Contractual control of scientific disclosure, DuPont imposed form of contractual control on scientists, notably require that they fulfill annual disclosure requirements, and that is not a strictly prohibited unpublished, but a requirement that scientists use Uncle Mouse will provide an annual research report on their published findings. And read through the right on future discovery that made with an Uncle Mouse, DuPont required that scientists give them right to future invention and make using Uncle Mouse. This so-called read-through right give licensor or patent technology a share in any proceeds from product, even though the original technology is not incorporated into the endpoint. These rights are not an integral part of patent law, but instead merge as part of a negotiation over the term of the condition of a contract to make use of technology, and they are part of the price of use. They were common in the contract between biotechnology and pharmaceutical firms. This was the first time a company had sought to impose such a provision on academic scientists. By late 1999, after 4 years negotiation, DuPont and NIH signed Memorandum of Understanding for academic scientists if when they were funded by NIH, they could use Uncle Mouse without cost, and providing that they were not using them for any commercial purpose, including research sponsored by a commercial firm. So the example shows the experience in maximized university-industry partnership are different and country by country. Our technology transfer system is more than just national laws allowing the ownership of IP by public research institutions, and it requires an institutional framework which provide incentive to each of the players in the system. And the experience is varied, and no one policy prescription exists. Hence, adoption the experience of another country uncritically, that would not be the best option. So the logic conflicts between academic and industry does exist because the mission is different. For academic science logic, they want to develop public knowledge, but for the commercial science logic, they want to solve concrete problem value in the marketplace. For the goal, academic scientific logic would like to publication, but for the commercial science logic, they want a financial return. For the research, academic want the primary basic research, but the commercial part, they want primarily applied research and technology developed projects. For academic scientific logic, the disclosure of result, they publish research result. But for commercial science logic, we want obtain patent and other IPs. For the working practice, academic, they autonomy and research freedom based on personal interest, long-term curiosity-driven the research. But for commercial part, there are limited freedom and coordination scientist action according to the firm's needs, short and medium-term outcome. For the motivation, academic part, we want status in the scientific community, but for commercial part, they are expecting the higher expected return. Therefore, there are principles needed for university and industry, how to balance needs for managing IP generated with government funding, and university entrepreneurship activity should not compromise academic obligations, and concrete a coherent and consistent policy on publicly funded research. The government should create a legal framework to allow IP ownership by publicly funded research organizations. And ownership should not be belong to the government agency which funded research, because it will be lack of market exclusivity and that will hinder the industry to invest in and develop new product from the federal-owned research. So, to balance and address public policy aspect, government interests should be preserved through march-in rights, and the channel public resources toward government policy priority for science, technology, education, and development of indigenous technology capacity in priority areas. And we should allow university or research institute to develop its own policy for commercialization and distribution benefits from parties. So here I pass the floor to Vikran. So the floor is yours.
The floor is yours. All right. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Professor Meijin, and also Professor Hayes, for giving me an opportunity to join this panel. It will be pleased to share some experience from the Thailand perspective, as well as some of the experience that we work together with Professor Hayes for university industry, some of the collaboration that we have in Germany. For these opportunities, I'd like to welcome you to Bangkok, and I wish that you will have the good opportunity to explore Bangkok a bit. You know, our people here miss you guys a lot. You know, it's been almost 2.5 years that we don't have tourists, and then people, all the shops, all the local people, you know, they are completely out of the market. We don't have tourists. Right now, this conference that's good that they happen here in Bangkok. And then I hope that after the conference, you may have a chance to visit, some of the places, the temple here, the shops, the local shop here. Please do go to visit our people. They miss you. Unfortunately, it's during the rainy seasons, so in the evening time, it's always rains. It's like you are in Seattle. Use your days, wake up early and go out in the daytime. It's really like Houston. It's very humid, but it's very, very good, and then people are very friendly. You will love it. Okay, let me introduce my company a bit. Who we are, and then where I'm from. SCG is the conglomerate company. We have been established for almost 109 years. A company is being established by King Rama VI. As you may aware that Thailand is we have the king monarchy, and then our past king has contributed a lot to our countries. One of the kings, our King Rama VI, initiated that during past 100 years ago, we should have some industry that builds cement. Otherwise, we cannot have our own infrastructures. We don't have roads, we don't have bridge without the cement constructions. So we have his initiative to work with the German and French engineers and the companies who have the knowledge for the cement production plant. So at that time, since 100 years ago, it was the first licensing in Thailand where we received the technologies, we learned the technology how to produce the cement plant in Thailand. And then we can expand our infrastructures. We can have the people use a good roads and nicer roads since then. And our king also support to have these companies to be not wholly owned by the king, but to be independent, run by the Thai people. So the company has expanded the business beyond the cement. So we tend to focus on the futures of using the raw material of cement like roof and tiles and other materials. And then for over 40 years ago, we think that Thailand industry should not focus only on the heavy industry like cement. We probably have to have new innovations. So the new innovations since last 40 years will be chemicals and new plastic resins because people tend to use more of the plastic at that time. So we also work with the licensor from the US, from Japan, to have the petrochemical, the first petrochemical plant in Thailand, which is led by SCG Chemicals, where I'm coming from. And then we also extend the business to SCG packaging and papers. So for SCG, okay, currently SCG Chemical is transforming. So we listed, we become the public company this year. And we're going to be listed next year. So it will be listed in the stock exchange and sells the shares to the public. And that's why we rebrand our logos to be more, in responding to the ESG, the social responsibilities, environmental, and to serve the economy of Thailand. For SCG Chemicals business, we are not only have present in Thailand, we also have the present in Southeast Asia mainly. We have the new plant, which is going to be start up by this year in Vietnam, Long Son Petrochemicals. And we have the plant production in Indonesia. So our target is to be leaders in Southeast Asia. In our portfolio in petrochemical chain, we have a wider range of the upstream and downstream to finished products made of plastic resins. Of course, in Thailand, we don't have the oil and gas ourselves. We have to import from other countries. So that's our feedstocks. And SCG Chemicals and also other companies that in Thailand purchase the feedstock from other countries. And we have our own plant. For upstream plant, down to downstream for produce plastic resins, and also we work with our consumer to produce the products like pipe, tank, films, and other products that made of plastics. So that's fabrication business within SCG. So currently SCG tends to focus on innovation that can be used as a realities. Like recently we work with university a lot, especially the university hospital, to create new innovation in responding to the COVID-19 situations. So we have the many innovations like the masks that coded by the virus antivirus coding, and we also have the card, the patients delivered by under pressures. And that will be something that we need to work collaboratively with the university in Thailand as well as outside the countries. To create innovation, there are multiple ways. So it could be starting from own R&D. That will be require spending your resource, your money, your budget, and then your ideas. Some of the lower investment is that you have professors, you consult with him or her, and then you get the ideas and you do your own research. Or you just hire some of the university or research institute to have the research service. Or you probably have work with other universities together with the industry to form a consortium to work together in one of the area or one or more areas that you might be interested, and you throw the ideas in and then you chop up out some of the opportunity through licensing out. Collaboration is something takes time and also require the right partners, and also it's a risk at work. Sometimes it's a risk that you have to identify whether or not that research could happen, could be scaled up, could be able to put into the industry for practicalities. Or the easiest way, but it's a heavily investment that you just license in the technology or just buy out by the companies. So that depends on the business strategy, but mostly SCG will work through the collaborations because we believe that innovation could also take time, but it could be shortened if we as industry have some market information, have the strategies, and the university, they have many brilliant professors out there. They can also input their ideas to form the research and deliverables. So that's what we call the holistic of the open innovation. So we work with the new collaborators throughout the world. Even in Southeast Asia, we work with ASAR. I think it's a very prestigious research institute in Singapore. Some of you may know. In Thailand, we also work with the Thai National Research University and the University of Chulalongkorn University based in Thailand. Recently, we have established our new marketing arm in Switzerland and in the UK. There will be our research hub. We work with Oxford University to identify the potential new ideas from the university and be commercialized in Europe. And we also acquire a company in Norway. They have plenty of researchers who doesn't wish to move out from their locations. So the old company of theirs would like to move the R&D location out of Norway. But the researcher there, they love their own countries. They're 50 years old and above. They love their country. They don't wish to move to anywhere, but they love to do the research. So it's lucky us that we found them, and then we said that we don't wish them to move. It's just the way they are working right now, but we will be the sponsor. So we acquired a company in Norway, and right now they are our arm length to do the research, especially on the polymer side. So with this in-university collaboration that we have is through all of the network that we form, whether Norner also work with many universities in Scandinavia. And also, Senfy also work closely with Oxford University, Senfy Swiss as well, because they are marketing arm length. And also in SCG Chemicals in Thailand, we also work with other universities like Fraunhofer in Germany, and also other universities in order to form the so-called Center of Excellence. We would like to establish more and more in Center of Excellence, contribute by the industry, and also we can also create the ideas and innovation from the feedback of the industry, and that could be something that we could scale up later on. When we work with the university, I'll give example first in Thailand. There are many complexities that you have to understand that sometimes professors, they only wish to do the research. When we throw in the idea, they say, oh, that's a very good idea, and he really wished to work in his lab right away. Sometimes they really don't care for the document that you send to them. Sometimes they really don't understand what we send to them, they just sign. And we figure out that for the industry in Thailand, we have to help ourselves that much, because professors, they probably don't know what the rules under the university. Sometimes they even don't know that they are not able to work with us individually. So in Thailand, we also have to make sure that we understand the roles of the professors, whether they are the independent researchers, that they can do the research consultant with us by themselves or not. Are there any restrictions under their own university rules and regulations that prohibit them to do the individual contract research with us? So these have to be your own due diligence, that you have to work closely with your professors. And also, it would be very good if you connect with the technology transfer office of theirs, because they know the good rules. They know if each of the professor in each department are under any of the restriction of that universities. So from my experience at first, our researchers know the professor because they are seniors and juniors from the universities, and they invite them to be a consultant. So they request my team to create a consultancy services. Okay, my team just create once and send to them. They sign it. Suddenly, the TLO, the Technology Licensing Office from that Thai university, talk to the boss of our company and say that why we do the shortcut, why we don't pass the right paths to talk to the university first before engaging the professors. So at that time, we don't know. It's been 10 years ago, We don't know because we really don't know that professor cannot do a single contract by himself, because he claimed that he would not do it during his teaching time. So he will do office hours, sometimes he will visit us, office, teaching time. So in generally, if he do this work out of his working hours, should be okay, right? But in the university, they also have a kind of rule and regulation. Every single contract that company have to work with the professors have to pass. Pass means that it doesn't matter whether it will be in the office hour or not. It has to be the contract that the company have to work with the university, and the professor have to follow the regulation internally. So since then, we also need to create a so-called procedures. So SCG have to work with individual university to create the protocol. So we have a template of the consultancy services. We have the so-called contract research service, which have the different implications. Collaboration research, we work the template with individual university to let them also understand that we also have a different criteria to choose the type of the transaction depending on the scope of the projects, as well as the expectation of the companies, whether or not we were to fully control intellectual property outcome, or we just need the idea, or we just need to work together to build and create together. So that will be something that we also have to educate and also work with the university to create the protocol. Until today, this year, Thailand has just enacted the new law, which actually we call the Thai BIDO Act. It's exactly the same with the BIDO law from the US. We call the Thailand Research and Innovation Utilization Promotion, which just recently enacted and announced this June. And this is actually the new law that try to empower the university and researchers to be able to own, the IP and manage the IP by themselves, including collaborate with the co-funders, like we could be the potential co-funder, and then this act allows us to have the independent negotiation between the university or researcher and the co-funder who are from the industry who should own the IP rights. So that is news to the Thailand, and then we also try to put this as the opportunities that the tech licensing office as well as the researchers and professors in the university will know more, will learn more about the IP rights, and this app will enable them, to build the innovation that also be able to commercialize into the market, because it's the incentivize of this BIDO apps as well. So this is a scheme that in many cases that when we work with the university in Southeast Asia, I think probably only Singapore that they know well. I think when I work with A-Star, they know what they want. So we just say that, okay, this project, we just would like to have your researcher work with our researcher. What will be your offer? So they put into a so-called a long research contract with a very fair condition, with the co-own and the right that we could adopt for the wholly owned with some of the payments, or we have the first right to take the license from them. So I think they are knowledgeable. But in other countries, I think we are adopting. We are growing, and we try to adopt the area from other countries to utilize the good things of the IP protections and the IP right protection for the university in Thailand and other countries. Besides the transactions, when you come into the discussion into details, you also find out that some of the university, most of the university in Thailand still cast out what is his background IP that contribute by them, and what is our background IP, what is happening in the collaboration. So this scenario, understanding of the IP right from the beginnings of the research collaborations is also important, and also studying and understanding their concern. I mean, the university and the researcher concern is important, because sometimes you don't know that they don't understand that they wish to receive the right, or they just wish to be the inventors of the patent that you can own. They don't care. They have a right to publish the documents or the publication, the work that they work with us. This is just fine. But once we talk about the ownership, we have to be clear what ownership that you refer to, and what scenario that they will receive. And this scheme will be something that once you negotiate the collaboration, you have to put in a very clear statement that what you bring into this research project, and what theirs bring in, and what will be the outcome. And then that outcome will be something that who owns it, and then who have the right to use. So this is something that we have to understand the objective of the parties that you talk with, and also the utilization of the industry. So this will be something that we have to discuss. So I just share the when I talk to the university outside of Thailand, like in German, we talk, in many scenarios, Professor Hayes knows well that, it's many rounds of discussions. They are very competent, and they know what they want. And researchers there, they are brilliant. they have not only the research insight, but they also have the market information. So this is something that we as the industry also have to balance. That what we know is the market from the industry perspective, from Thailand perspective, from Southeast Asia perspective, because we would like the products to be mainly sold here. And then it could be something that besides would be sold here, and it could be sold in Europe. That would be a smaller portion. But they are in Europe, so they also got enter into multiple collaboration with industry in Europe, and they also receive the market feedback from their partners. So sometimes we also utilize that collaboration to understand the positioning and the needs in Europe as well. So at the beginning, when we work in this project, what we have our own formulations. And what we don't have is to have a kind of test for we have our lab, but we would like to have a bigger lab. So I would say a scale up, but it's not a production size. It's a scale up in the lab. And we would like to have expertise of the German research people, and we work with them. At first, of course, it's simple. Start with the NDAs. Disclose the project information, and then set up the project objectives and role and targets. When we start discussion with them, it has a kind of different perspective a bit. For what we would like to have is to have our formulations to be able to scale up in their labs, and then they send the report to us. So that's our expectation, is that they taste basing on their knowledge, basing on their equipment, and sent to us. So our first approach is that, why don't we do the research service? And they fully reject, because they said it's not a service. They are not doing any higher work. Their researchers also contribute the way how to formulate it better, the way to make it scalable. So they put the knowledge in there. So let's form a collaboration. That's what they propose. Okay, so we don't mind, because we also wish to be flexible. We want to hit the target. So we talk to them, and we find out that there are different stages of to conduct the research. Sometimes if we just would like to get the ultimate target, the product, which is film, for example, there are multiple ways to get the research approach to get the final products. But we would like to control our formulation. The way that we talk to them is that, why don't we do step by step? Because we don't know if we just throw the final products, and there could be multiple ways, and that will be a mix up of the ownership rights. Because we would like to control the formulation, and we also would like to control the final products. That will become from mainly our formulation. But we also lack of the knowledge of them to do the scaling up, the method and the processes. So we told them that, okay, let's do step by step. Let's do phase 1 first, just proof of concept. Prove that our formulation, this is true, could be scalable. So you just use your knowledge, repeating on that lab. So let's do first step first. If it's repeatable, we can do further. And that it will be something that we will be welcome to discuss more on the ownership rights, the contributions, those kind of things. So this will be the step that we try to minimize the negotiation of the ownership right at the very early stage of the R&D collaboration. So once we split, they tend to be acceptable, and then we also need to discuss who owns what formulation. So it will be clear cut that first phase there is no IP derived from the proof of concept, because it's not doing any additional formulation. It's just to prove what we have. So we spell on the contract that the background IP, the formulation is from ours. What they do, they also have their background IP is still theirs. We just want to match whether it is right or not. So that we spell out clearly in the contract there is no arising IP at the first phase. And then later on we discuss on the improving the formulation. Now it's become kind of a new discussion of the IP rights. And ultimately, the university, the research institutes can also be focused and start the work from step by step. Otherwise, if you start to discuss about the IP ownership of every single thing, this project will not happen for sure. So Professor Hai, feel free to share from your experience because sometimes we also experience that when we talk to the university in certain countries, it probably will be good ideas to have the people in that country to help us negotiate. Because we are from Thailand, we don't know their characteristic, we don't know the regulation from that university. So sometimes we also have the expert from Germany to also negotiate with the German university, and that makes things easier. And then finally we can get the contract ties. Thanks to Hai for being very patient and help us for this one. So this is our learning, and also is a very good experience that I have with Professor Hines. Okay, so this is just what we do in Thailand. That we in Thailand, as the IS Thailand is one of the organizations that we try to educate Thai people to know about intellectual property and licensing. So SCT also will be a part of this education program to support the organization of Thailand to build the knowledge of the intellectual property. Thank you.
Thank you, very powerful.